And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank you for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live in the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. Happy early new year wherever you are in the world. Hopefully you are celebrating it safe. Don't go outside shooting your pistols in the air with no way of them coming down safely. Be safe out there. Don't drink and drive. Call an Uber. Leave your Honda Civic at the club. But thank you for being here. You guys are fantastic. We got a few topics to discuss tonight. We're talking about the Idaho suspect who has been caught. That's been a crazy story that has gripped the nation. I've been watching it kind of closely. I don't think I did any videos on it, but I've been watching it pretty closely to see what would transpire. And we do have a suspect in custody. And it's probably him. This guy looks like Ted Bundy and probably studied that guy. He probably was a copycat. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, Andrew Tate, many of you may know him, many of you may not know him, but he's a very popular figure, kind of very well known in the manosphere, I guess you would say. Maybe not even. That's probably not the appropriate word. What I'm gonna say, very well known to men, giving this kind of alpha advice. He got arrested in Romania. We'll talk about that. New York State won't prosecute kids anymore. We got quite a few topics on deck on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these internets. If you enjoy what you're hearing thus far, if you enjoy the content in general, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. We got quite a few things happening tonight. Happy New Year's Eve. Happy New Year. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it safely. I'm at the crib hanging out with the best audience anywhere on God's green earth. So I thank y'all for joining me tonight. Absolutely. And I'm doing very well. Thank you somewhere in time. I'm doing very well. Yeah, the calls, I know the calls tonight. I know because somebody said the calls are going to be hilarious tonight. I can't see your name right there. Nikki says the call should be hilarious tonight. Yeah. I won't even talk too long because I might not do my full 3 hours. So I want you guys to call in a little bit later, probably about an hour or so. I know the calls are going to be crazy because sometimes we get people that have been drinking. That's not necessarily abnormal. But now this is New Year's Eve. People are going to be doing what they're doing. They might be out somewhere, might be at the house. Got some of that boxed wine. Some of that Mad Dog 2020, the 7-Eleven juice, whatever you got going on. I know it's going to be like that tonight because, you know, New Year's Eve is one of those nights where if you are like an amateur at going out, you go out. Like, I'm not the kind of guy that goes out to clubs and stuff like that. So if I was still a normie, I'd go out New Year's Eve. Like, hey, I'm celebrating. Meanwhile, it's like it's my first day on planet Earth going to a club. I don't know what's going on. I don't know no etiquette. People looking at me crazy because I'm an amateur. It's just like people that drive on Christmas, not Christmas Day, but the Christmas time. They're going to the mall and their driving skills are horrendous because they don't normally drive. They're an amateur driver. It's like, have you never seen a roundabout before? How about a 4-way stop? Do you know what the traffic light means? Do you know that green means go? I mean, basic stuff like that the normies don't get, who don't do that kind of stuff too much. So yeah, please stay safe out there. And the reason why I'm talking about the amateurs is because if you're outside tonight, the amateurs will also be outside drinking for the first time in the year, driving for the first time in the year. And when those two combine, it's going to be very dangerous. So please be safe and be aware of everybody on the road. But we got quite a few things going on tonight. Oh, before I get into any topics and whatnot, before we get to the topics and the calls a little bit later, thank y'all for joining and thank y'all for following my sponsors of the show. Of course, we got, I think, usually 4 main sponsors, and the 2 main sponsors are my websites, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. We had an issue with the website. When you visit it, it will redirect you to a different website. But I think we fixed that. Hopefully we fixed it. If anybody has any problems with that, please let me know. I'm going to call my host and be like, hey, you know, X, Y, and Z people on my YouTube say that the website still doesn't work properly. So can I get a discount That website is crazy expensive. I might leave them anyway. Don't tell nobody. It's between me and you. I might leave them anyway, but I digress. The point is that the website should be fixed. If you go to the front page of the website, there will be articles for each video that I produce. So if you ever have a question, hey, ABL, where did you get that source? Can you cite that source? If you go to the website, everything will be right there before your very eyes. So check it out. I don't have that soap sponsor anymore. I might have to get another soap sponsor. Because they have some pretty good stuff, but I might get another one pretty soon. But go to the website, anthonyblogan.com. Check it on out. Also, go to the contact page if you want to find my social media accounts, my email address, my snail mail address. You can send me things in an actual physical mail. And for all you guys that have sent me books and everything else, thanks from your company. I appreciate you guys. It means a whole lot to me. I may not necessarily respond to everyone who sends me something, but I appreciate it. Same thing with the emails. I get bombarded with emails, but I try to at least skim through most of them. And if I don't respond, please forgive me, but I got thousands of emails to respond to. If I responded to emails, that's all I would ever do, really. But thank y'all again for sending me things. I appreciate you guys. You can also find my social media accounts, my Facebook, Instagram, and my Twitter on the website, anthonyblogan.com/contact. Also go to ablmerch.com. We got hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more right on the website. Again, ablmerch.com. Also, if you want the beautiful handmade wooden flags that are right behind me, go to patriotpost.us. Link for them. Pardon me, I'm tripping. Not patriotpost.us. See, I'm getting ahead of myself. If you want the beautiful handmade wooden flags that are right behind me, go to bhedesigns.com. You see, let me get it together before I start messing up. Again, bhedesigns.com. All right. Now, if you want the good news source, the best source of news and information, then you go to patriotpost.com. All my links for everything will be in the description box below. And what else we got going on? I might do IG Live. That might be a good idea tonight, maybe. I might just have to do that. Y'all, but I'll announce that toward the end of this show if I'm going to do an IG. If I do an IG, it probably won't be but for like a half hour or something like that. You know what I mean? Something that's kind of abbreviated. All right. Any special New Year's Eve dinners? Now, I don't have any. It's like every year it's something a little bit different. I can't even really remember what I do from year to year. A lot of times I'm at home. Sometimes I've done dinners. I've done house parties. I've been at a club before. Family gatherings. I've done pretty much everything you can think of. But I think, as I said in a previous stream, the best thing is being at home or at someone's home, like a house party. The worst thing is going to a club because people are amateurs. They don't know what they're doing. It's a mess. And I don't even really drink, so it's just kind of an awkward environment. I don't want to be around a bunch of drunk lunatics who have not been drinking in the past year. I'd rather be at the house. I'd rather be at the house. But that's just me. Whatever you do, it's all on you. You know, live your life and enjoy it the best you can. But those are all my sponsors. All my links will be in the description. This is a podcast as well. If you want the audio only version of this podcast in full, go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. So I'll be on Apple iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, Google Play, wherever you listen to your audio only podcasts. I'll be there for 100% free. This podcast will be available at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning Eastern time. So this is New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2022. This will be available January 1st, 2023 at 8 a.m. Eastern time for 100% free on your favorite audio-only streaming platforms. Again, search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. And thank you to Renee. Rest in peace to Barbara Walters. Absolutely. Rest in peace, Barbara Walters. How old was she? 93? I don't want to say the wrong thing, so let me just look it up right quick. Yeah, Barbara Walters was definitely a legend in the game. Unfortunately, she created The View. Wow. So yeah, she created The View. And that's not a very good show right now. But aside from The View, she had some legendary interviews. I think she interviewed Gaddafi. She was not necessarily always very kind to everybody, but you can't deny her legendary status. I put her in the same category as a Rush Limbaugh. Obviously not for their political viewpoints, but because of their status as far as being a journalist, a reporter. Now, Rush is a radio host, but still, I still put him in the same kind of category with each other. Legendary game changer. I think she was the first female anchor on evening news. If I'm wrong, y'all let me know. I might be saying that incorrectly, but I know she's definitely a groundbreaker. 93 years old. She passed away in New York City. May she rest in peace. Definitely an icon, regardless of the political views and all that kind of stuff like that, right? Oh, yeah, and also the Pope, one of the old popes that died, not the sitting Pope, obviously. What was that, Pope Francis? I don't want to say his name wrong either, yeah. So Pope Benedict, pardon me, Pope Benedict, Pope Francis is still living. Is he the Pope right now, Pope Francis? Yeah, he's a Pope right now. I think a Pope or two before him, Pope Benedict, died at 95 years old at the Vatican. Now, I mean, at a certain point, you can't live forever. 93, 95, you live in a long life. I say, hey, you've lived as long as you're really going to live at that point. The life expectancy for a lot of people is like in their 70s, maybe even in their 60s. So to live to be 95 years old, you had a very long life. And that's pretty much what that is. So yeah, RIP to them. I don't know much about Pope Benedict. I know a little bit about Barbara Walters, obviously, but rest in peace to them. All right. And rest in peace to everybody that passed away. There's a few YouTubers that have died this year, but I don't want to go down that particular road and get all sad and sappy. So I'm going to keep on rocking here. Where do I start? There's quite a few things on deck that I kind of want to discuss. Pope John Paul been dead, ain't he? Pope John Paul been dead since the 90s, ain't? Hold on. Or is he dead? Pope John Paul died in 05. Okay. Pope John Paul II. So I'm sure Pope John Paul the First been dead since the 1800s or something. Who knows? But anyway, I digress. Let's go ahead and go to some topics here. Can we talk about Southwest Airlines first? Because there's quite a few things that I want to get into and I want to do a deep dive into. But can we get into Southwest Airlines? Now, this is very controversial for a few reasons. First of all, Southwest Airlines is in a bunch of hot water because they are responsible for a lot of the canceled flights. It's not just as simple as weather, because weather is going to cancel flights in the holiday season because obviously it's the beginning of winter. It's cold. If you are going to fly to a northern place or from a northern place, you're going to have some delays, or you may have some delays because of inclement weather. If you got 15 feet of snow, what are you going to do? That's not the airline's fault. That's not anyone's fault other than Mother Nature. It is what it is. However, the majority of the flights that have been canceled over the past week or so have been for Southwest Airlines. And it wasn't because of the weather necessarily. It was because of scheduling conflicts, a lack of updating their technology. So the thing about the technology that you may have heard about, as far as Southwest not updating it, they are not aligned with the competition with their technology, so they can't locate their crew members in an efficient manner. They don't know where the pilot is. They don't know where the flight attendant is. They don't know where people are that they should know. Therefore, the planes are not being staffed properly, and they got to cancel flights. That is a problem. A lot of pilots are saying this. A lot of crew members are saying this. Southwest Airlines just has not upgraded the technology to meet modern expectations. And they got how many billions of dollars from the federal government? Remember the bailout during the pandemic? Remember that? Where they gave out, I think Southwest got like $7 billion, not million. That's $1 million right now is like $100,000. It's like you could be a normie and get that with no problem. I'm exaggerating, but you understand what I'm saying. For them to get $7 million would be, they got $7 billion from your pocket, from you, the taxpayer, because it was a bailout from the federal government. So The only way the government makes money is from you and your tax money. It doesn't matter if you contribute $1 or $1 million. You still contributed. It's your money. They got $7 billion. Now, I want to understand the whole thing about trying to keep people employed and trying to keep the business afloat while things are shut down. I mean, if you can't fly anywhere, the airports are shut down, flights are shut down, they're closing down the whole country. What are you going to do? You got to be able to keep things going to stay in operation. However, they fired a bunch of people because remember the whole thing about the mandate? Okay. You got fired because of the mandate. You got fired because there was not enough work to go around. So where did the money go? If you're not putting it toward the employees, if you're not upgrading technology, where did the money go? To your bottom line, to shareholders, to high-level guys in the company? Where did the money go? I like to know. I like to get an audit on Southwest Airlines because if I gave you $7 billion and you've not made any kind of upgrades, and then on top of me paying my tax money to you to upgrade yourself and to maintain yourself and to improve yourself during this pandemic, on top of that, I pay for a ticket and then I get canceled, and then you call the police on me when I'm just sitting in the at the gate trying to get something to go, trying to make a reschedule. Talking about some, oh well, you can't stay right here at the gate, so you got to go down to the ticket office. The problem with that is, if you leave from right there in the gate, you're being kicked out of the airport essentially because the ticketing office is outside of TSA. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. So the way that it will work from my point of view is, and I'm going to get to the video that corresponds to this, but the way that it works from my point of view is when you go to the airport, in order to get through TSA, you got to have a ticket. You can only get up to a certain point without a ticket. That's why people, you'll see them, you'll see them waiting for their loved ones outside of TSA, like right outside where you can't go any further. They'll be right there with a sign talking about Johnny or military family. Daddy, we miss you. Be gone for 8 months. And mommy's pregnant with a baby, blah, blah, blah. You know, all that kind of stuff, right? You can't go into the actual airport where you about to get on a plane without your ticket. So if you had a ticket and it got canceled, they're saying, yo, you got to get out because your ticket got canceled. You can't be in here anymore. Go to the ticketing booth and you probably won't get a ticket for this flight. So now if you are in the airport with no business being there, now at that point you're trespassing completely and you're being kicked out. No hotel voucher, no nothing. When I flew back from Virginia to here, they were talking about, hey, can we get 5 volunteers to take a gift card for $500 and we'll reschedule you on the flight in an hour. Now, me personally, I knew that if I took that, I was going to get back to ATL in a time where it was going to be bad traffic. So I wasn't trying to do that. I could have done that, but I was like, nah, let's not. I'm not trying to hit that ridiculous Atlanta traffic. You know, I can be there all day. I'm trying to get back to the house immediately, post haste. I don't want to do it with a 5-hour wait in traffic. All right. But the point is, if you want to volunteer to not take the flight, they're giving you $500 and a change in your flight. They're not saying the money you get on the gift card will go to your next flight. You could pay for it. No, they're saying we'll pay you to take a new flight. That's what they're saying. And that was on Delta. So if they can do that, why can't Southwest at least offer you something? Not just say, hey, man, get out. That's crazy. That's totally crazy. I mean, now let me go to play the video. And this was pretty controversial because a lot of you guys disagree with me because I said, I don't really blame the officer here. I mean, I think maybe the officer could have been a little bit more understanding in the way he was speaking. I think he could have had a little bit more discretion in the way he was speaking to people because I understand that on one end, he can't really do too much because he's being called there. So at a certain point, it's like, all right, if you're being called to a place and they're telling you, oh, well, these people they're trespassing or whatever, you got to do your job. But at the same time, it's like, you understand the situation. They're not there just because they just want to be there. They're there because their flight got canceled and they're trying to figure out a way to get back to the house. As simple as that. Now, can I zoom in or not? Let's see if we can zoom in on this. And then I'm going to go ahead and do that. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Alrighty. And let's do this. So here's the video I want to show you guys. This is on the TikToks. I'm not logged into TikTok at all. This is just a video. So let's go ahead. Can we get some sound? Let's go ahead and roll it.
Stu and her needs to leave or you'll be arrested for trespassing.
Are you kidding me?
Go.
Are you filming that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right now. Everybody to the unsecure side.
So you heard what he said. Everybody to the unsecure side, meaning the secure side is when you pass through TSA, getting ready to get on the flight. The unsecure side means you're being kicked out of how you got in through TSA. So if you're able to get another ticket or whatever the case may be, you got to go back through TSA and do that whole process all over again. Take your shoes off, pants off, whatever you got to do, right? And by the way, TSA, I mean, must y'all be so ridiculous? Like, where am I going? Am I going to a war zone? Like, why am I getting patted down right here in front of little kids? I don't really understand, but I digress.
The ticket counter will help you with any questions you have. Go. Yes. You have no ticket. You don't need to be in the secured side. Let's go.
We have tickets.
The ticket just got canceled.
And by the way, this is in Nashville, at the Nashville airport. I'm not logged in. You see where it says right there, log in. I'm not logged in. So don't nobody try to be like, oh, ABL, you watching makeup videos. I am not. I promise I'm not.
We're not here for that flight.
Badge number 26.
What a layover. Like, there ain't no, like...
We're not.
Okay.
A Southwest gate.
We're not even here for this flight.
Where are you trying to go?
Tampa.
Tampa.
So are you guys all, everybody here is trying to go to Tampa?
I don't know.
No.
I mean,
We didn't ask
I got
everybody.
nowhere to go. Yeah, that's my wife. I got nowhere to go.
We're stuck here.
What can I do for you?
Okay, so are we just going to be kicked to the curb, or are you going to ask?
Get kicked to the curb. Southwest Airlines sold them a ticket. They get to the airport using that ticket, go through TSA using that ticket, and then when they get to the actual gate, they're talking about, oh, no, they got canceled. Can we get anything? No. What are we going to do? Try to reschedule? And they're there trying to reschedule, trying to get a different flight out, trying to not be in Nashville airport stranded. And since they are standing by the gate with now, I guess would be an invalid ticket, they're being told to get out the airport. That's what they want. Now, I think what happened here is Southwest did not really want to approach them and say, you guys got to get out the airport. That's what it's going to boil down to. He's saying go to the unsecure area. That really means get out the airport. Because once you go to the unsecure area and you can't get a ticket, now you just in the airport for no reason. But I don't understand the point of that, because every time I go to the airport and it's at night, I'm seeing people in there sleeping, like literally legit in the airport sleeping. I saw a picture of a guy that had a whole air mattress in the airport at the gate, sleep right there in front of the chairs. So what's the big deal? I think that Southwest did not want to pay them anything. They didn't want to have, and you could have just paid them some money or done something, pay them some money, give them a hotel voucher, and they would have just left, potentially. They didn't want to do that. They wanted to cut costs by calling the cops and telling them to get out. But now you didn't get a bigger PR nightmare on your hands as a result of that. The cop could have been a little bit more friendly, but I don't think it's his fault for being called. It's Southwest's fault for canceling the flights and calling the police, not giving them anything to fix what was going on. It's their fault, not his.
You can't kick us out of the airport. Like,
You said you're going to arrest people for trespassing,
Yes.
for being at a ticket counter for a
If you
flight.
don't have a valid ticket and you're on the secured side or refuse to leave, you will be arrested.
We do have tickets. We have
Okay,
valid
where's your
tickets. They're
tickets
just
to?
not to Washington, D.C. or Phoenix.
All right. Well, if your ticket is canceled, you no longer have a ticket.
Now, somebody says anyone could have called. That's true, but the officer said that Southwest called. That's what he said. I'm not making it up. He said that out of his mouth. So either he's lying or Southwest called, and I think that he's not lying about that. Why would he lie about that? He could have, because if it wasn't Southwest, could have just said, well, I was called. You see what I'm saying? He could be lying, but why? Why throw that on Southwest?
You understand that, right?
Yes, we do, because they rescheduled you.
No, they don't. If they tell you to go to
We are
the ticket
told at the
counter,
counters that we have to see a CSA. We were
Well,
told
right now, Southwest is calling us because you guys are congregated right here, and they're trying to close that gate.
So we're not
and
congregating,
telling
we're in
you-
line to get information.
Okay. Well,
So yeah, this goes on for a while. The officer is just trying to tell them to get out. It was a big mess. Southwest, I mean, I don't know what the deal is. People they like Southwest, or they liked previously, past tense, liked Southwest before this. I've never flown Southwest personally. No reason, but I just always I prefer Delta. I used to fly American. Well, I've flown American before. What was the airline where the dude got beat up? Was that United or American? I think that might have been United, where the Asian guy got beat up, glasses everywhere. Hold on. Asian man beat up airline. That was United. Yeah. I'm not trying to fight. No, I'm not trying to go on fisticuffs with the flight attendants. Okay. Delta flight attendants, nice and friendly. Got a few jokes for you. You know, they look out for you. It's all good. I'm not trying to be on an airline having an MMA match like Andrew Tate, kickboxing, no flight attendant. I don't want to do it, so I rather would not. I like to have nice, peaceful experiences. Now, I'm gonna say this, just a little bit of advice, just from me. I can't speak. I'm not some kind of world traveler. I've not been everywhere. I don't fly every day. A lot of you guys gonna be pilots, flight attendants. You might fly more than me. This is just my experience, from my point of view. And traveling from Atlanta. Now, when I go to Atlanta, like the reason why I would drive to Atlanta and not fly from here or even in Nashville is because I can get a lot of direct flights from Atlanta. If I can't get a direct flight, I usually don't want to go. I want direct flights because you have a lower chance of problems happening. When I was coming back from VA to here to Tennessee, people were on my same flight trying to get a connection to somewhere else in the country. And our flight was delayed by 30 minutes. 30-minute delay. For me, it's nothing because I'm going straight to my destination. Once I get out off the plane, I'm going straight to my car and driving home. Parked at the airport, I'm good money. But some people were trying to get to the airport to connect and go somewhere else. So if we're a half hour behind, now you trying to run to get to the concourse, you might miss it. They're talking about we got 5 minutes to get to the concourse. Like, man, you ain't gonna make that. If we just landed and then even go over the sky bridge to deplane, you're talking about 5 minutes to get from concourse B to concourse T. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't going. You might as well just go ahead and just sit down. Don't try to get off the plane early. Just go ahead and sit down and just at that point get on your phone and try to reschedule because you ain't gonna make it. Okay, if they depart in 5 minutes, they done already closed the door. They get ready to go ahead and taxi off. So you might as well forget it. But yeah, I try to get direct flights, and I fly with a good airline, as good as it can be. Delta's been pretty cool. I've not had any problems with Delta. I like Frontier as well. I flew Frontier one time, and it was all good. The plane was nice. It was straight. Now, they didn't have any bells and whistles. They didn't have the in-screen entertainment in the back of the seat and stuff like that, like Delta does. You had to pay for drinks, like you had to pay for cookies and crackers and ginger ale and stuff like that, as far as I know. But if you're just trying to get from point A to point B, Frontier was okay for a low price. Now, as I said before, you might have some interesting characters on there. You might have some BBL bandits on there, but beyond that, it's all good. You know, and they got cheap flights as well. Oh, really? They got cheap flights depending upon where you're going. I've seen flights for like $100, $200. Depends on where you're going. It depends on where you're traveling to. That's the main thing. You know, let me see. Somebody says American Airlines is the worst in Charlotte and Philly. Yeah, I've been to Charlotte. I'm not really a fan of Charlotte Airport. I try to avoid that. Sometimes I might have a connecting in Charlotte. That's why I don't like connecting. I rather would just fly straight to my destination if I can. I don't mind driving to Atlanta, hour and a half, 2 hours tops. I drive there, hop off the plane, park right there at the airport, go through TSA, 15 minutes max, go to my gate, and I'm there. It's easy. Okay. Thank you to Bob Bobson who says, what year is it where you live? Hello for 2023. Shout out to you early in the game or late, I should say. Miss Adams says they do hold flights that they know you have landed. Interesting. I mean, I've been in that situation. They didn't hold it for me. I straight missed that flight. I got to the gate and was nobody there. The whole gate was closed. I had to reschedule. So, hey, if they do that for some people, then there must be some kind of dignitary, I don't know, some kind of diplomat. Somebody got to be, on the phone like, hey, man, we about to get this dude. We about to get Bob Bobson on the plane, man. Hold the plane for him. You understand? But anyway, what is a BBL bandit? Well, don't Google it, please. But a BBL, that's basically when a woman gets cosmetic surgery on her hind parts to enhance it. And what happens is a lot of times they fly to Miami and they can't sit in the airplane seat properly. They kind of sit like Doberman Pictures, Great Danes or something like that. And, they sit in the seat. Like, normally you would sit in the seat like this, right? Your hind parts go in the seat, your back against the backrest, your neck and head against the headrest, like a normal person, right? The way I'm sitting right now is how you would sit in the seat on a plane normally, if you're a normal human being. But the BBL bandits put their knees, okay, they put their knees in the seat part, and they rest on the backrest like this, like a dog. They put their paws on top of the headrest, and they put their chin on top and lean against the headrest because they can't sit down. You see that a lot in Miami, and it's a lot going on because they had surgery, they got wounds. Yeah. So you might see some of that on Frontier if you fly like Miami, Atlanta. So if you flying somewhere else in the country, Midwest, North, West Coast, Left Coast, you might be okay. But you go to Tampa, Miami, ATL, maybe even, you'll see some of the BBL bandits. Okay, I'm talking about like a whole pit bull, a German Shepherd, some kind of mid to large size dog. You see them in the car on the interstate with the head out the window. That's how the BBL bandits sit on Frontier Airlines in Miami. Is it legal and safe? I presume not, but what are you going to do? They can't sit down. They didn't have surgery, so there might be some kind of medical exemption. I mean, if you got turbulence, man, if you find turbulence and you sitting like that, man, you're gonna be bleeding to death almost. But I digress. I don't want to get too crazy. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Hey, do not Google BBL. And you guys are going to do it anyway, against my wish, against my request. Hey man, knock yourself out. Basically, it's cosmetic surgery on hind parts. Men get it too. Sometimes you see a man that gets it, but really it's for women to try and make themselves get the Kim Kardashian look, or the old Kim Kardashian when she was kind of chunky a little bit. They try to get that look, but it's not very safe at all. Okay, and I'm gonna just move forward away from that one because we got little kids watching. But let's get into the next topic here. And I won't talk to you guys but for so long because I'm going to get some of the calls in because I know it's going to be some good calls tonight. Let's talk about New York State refusing to prosecute kids under the age of 12 for all crimes except for homicide. Now, that provision right there, except for homicide, lets you know that some of these kids are very dangerous. Now, am I trying to say that you should prosecute kids for stealing a candy bar in the store or for jaywalking or some little petty ticky-tack crime? Okay, you didn't stole $1 from. I'm not saying you should go to jail or get prosecuted for that. However, we're talking about, they said any crime except for homicide. So you're talking about carjacking, assault, deadly weapon, just assault, battery, stalking, any kind of, assault on a woman from a man. What else? Selling drugs, all kind of stuff. Illegal weapons, gun crimes, gun charges. You're 11 years old with a stolen gun that got bodies on it, and you won't get charged for that because you're under the age of 12. I mean, some of these kids are very dangerous. People don't really understand that. People that don't come from like a urban environment don't understand that. They think about 12-year-olds, think about Howdy Doody, Dennis the Menace, you got a slingshot. Most you're going to do is bust out somebody's backyard window, that kind of stuff. Doogie Howser, MD, you're thinking about guys like that. But I'm thinking about some of these Tookie Williams, some of these gangbangers that started gangbanging when they were 10, 11, 12 years old. People that got bodies on their record at 10, 11, 12 years old. Guys that are out there selling drugs, carrying weapons, all that stuff. Okay. In Virginia, you can be charged as an adult at the age of 14. Okay. In VA, Virginia, you can be charged as an adult at the age of 14. So you could be 14 years old in an adult prison. Why? Why do they say that? It's because a lot of these kids are very violent, very dangerous. They don't really care. When you say you're not going to prosecute any crimes except for homicide, you're pretty much giving the gang leaders, the older people, older kids or older adults, cartel, Bloods, Crips, Italian Mafia, maybe even everybody, you're giving them a green light to say, you know what, let's go out there and get some of these young kids because they won't get charged. It's already like that to a certain extent because they know kids get slapped on the wrist. Maybe they'll do a little bit of time of juvenile detention, something like that. But if there's no incentive to not recruit these young kids, if you could just, actually, it's a big incentive to recruit the kids. There's a big incentive like that. Let's say, hey man, you won't face any kind of charges, no penalties for any crime beyond homicide. I mean, you're gonna get more of these young people that are out there doing very dangerous things. All right, that's the problem. Go to Atlanta and you watch the news. Matter of fact, just go visit Atlanta or watch local Atlanta news, 11 Alive. Go to the YouTube channel and just watch it and see who's committing the crime. A lot of these kids between the ages of 15 and 20, or not even 15, I would say 10 to 18, 11, but right around 15, that's like the average age of these criminals, 15 years old. It's not a bunch of 35-year-olds out there gangbanging. You might have some of these guys that are doing it, but that's not really what's happening. It's a young men, the young kids. There was a shooting at Atlantic Station where a 12-year-old got shot and killed by other kids the same age. Okay? His mom was on TV crying, talking about, I did all I could. The police, she said she called the police on her son 30 times. So if he's 12 years old and she called the police 30 times, that means he had been a terror and a menace before he was 12 years old. 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. That's the truth. That's the reality. Okay. Why is it so hard to understand? That's what's going on. So they say in New York State, and starting in 2023, they won't charge any kids under the age of 12 for any crimes except for homicide. So you got to go all the way to killing somebody to get charged. Assault, battery, stalking, any kind of assault on a woman from a man, anything like that, selling drugs, fentanyl, whatever, no big deal. You're 12 years old. You didn't mean, you were just a little kid, didn't know any better. You're Dennis the Menace with a slingshot, busting out windows in somebody's backyard window. No. That's just not it. Oh, what did the dad say? Well, no dad. You know ain't no dad in a place like that. Speaking about the mom that had the little boy, the 12-year-old, yeah. Speaking about, ain't no dad involved. If it was a dad involved, you wouldn't be begging the police to come take him because the dad would kind of like have some sort of boundary. But they say like 85% of prison inmates come from single parent households, usually led up by women. I saw a really crazy stat. I saw a video that mentioned this stat. If I can find it, I'll play it for you guys. I probably can't find it. Hopefully I can. Matter of fact, I might be able to. Let me try to find it as I'm saying it. But there was a stat that says most prison inmates come from a single parent home led by a woman. And it said the chances of you not going to prison are the same if you have two parents in the household or just the father. I'm gonna say that one more time. The chances of you not going to prison are the same if you come from a 2-parent household or you have just your father. It's the single mother-led households that are the problem. Now, I don't want nobody trying to say, are you trying to blame women? You hate women. I love women. I love everybody. It's not even like that. It's just the reality of the situation. A woman raising children is very good with children when they're young. When they are babies, obviously, she's got to nurse them. She's got to be able to really take care of the baby as a mother, as a woman. They are very good at this. This is why nurses and whatnot usually are not 90% nurses are women, because they understand how to care for somebody who needs to be taken care of, like a baby. But then when a child, especially a boy, gets to be about 8, 9, 10, start to kind of hit like almost puberty stage, not quite, but like just before, at that point, he needs more of the father because he's more independent. He could do things on his own. He doesn't need his mom to do everything for him. And if there's no man there in that situation, and you got a violent environment, and the mother is not really all the way wrapped too tight to herself, what happens is there's nobody there to take the child to the next level of their growth. That's what happens. That's just biology. Women are good with babies, people that need care, that can't take care of themselves, non-independent people. They're better at emotional communication. All right. They're better at that. The men are good at being able to get you. You've had that kind of training and sharpen it so you'll be able to go out there and do things on your own and be independent and make sound and rational decisions, emotionless decisions. A lot of these boys are soft. Like, I'm going to say this and don't nobody get triggered. It's nothing against the LGBTs. But what you see a lot of times in these communities, poor communities, no dads or whatever, you're going to see two types of people that get produced. Well, you're going to see two extremes. Not all, but you see two extremes. You're going to see the very effeminate, kind of confused by himself boy who only had his mom and his aunts and everybody to model himself after. So he has no other way to behave other than that. He might not even be gay, but he don't really understand because he don't understand about himself because all he's ever had is women to look at as role models to try and lead him to the next level. Or you'll have the boy who is super hardcore masculine, super thug or whatever, ready to kill you over nothing because he's led by his emotions, totally brainless, can't add 1 + 1, can't read, totally brainless, like a killing machine. Basically, you're going to have one of the two options, but they're the same person, really. It's just they express themselves in different ways, but it's coming from the same energy. No dad, no guidance, no proper masculine role model. That's where that comes from. You see, I always had my dad. That's why me coming in the hood, I didn't have that type of situation where I was just one of these crazy extremes. That wasn't me. I had my dad in my life. A lot of guys didn't. And you can see, it's an obvious thing. Let me see if I can find that clip. I was trying to find that. And I was not trying to look for it in that moment, but it was a short. I should be able to find it here somewhere. Okay, hold on. I'm going to find that clip. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Now, the whole thing about the trans and the LGBT, that comes from the same type of situation, in my opinion. And also a lot of weak men that have been raised without a father, when they decide to have children and raise a family, it's quite a few factors weighing on them, but they need to be the ones that stop all the trans stuff. Like somebody, if a child is gay, that's one thing. That's a different story. I'm not talking about somebody's child being gay. I'm talking about a 12-year-old saying, you know what, I want to be transgender. It's like, look, boy, you may feel like you soft or feminine or weak or whatever. Okay, we could deal with that at a different time or later. If you want to be that, it's different. But you're not going to be 12 years old in the house talking about, I'm going to cut my stuff off. You're not doing that. You are going to live by certain rules here. You're not going to be 12 years old. I don't care if you're trans, if you're a boy, girl, zir, zim, zer, you identify as a tree, you identify as a brand new cell phone, you identify as a clump of water. I don't care, a clump of cells, okay, an aborted. I don't care what you identify as. You're not going to be 12 years old in my house wearing high heels, halter tops, lipstick, makeup, all that good stuff. Okay. Are you a 12-year-old boy or girl, or are you a streetwalker? You're not going to be the latter in my house. So you got to pick. You got to have rules in the house. As simple as that. But the problem is a lot of society will try to say you're a transphobe or homophobe, and they might try to interfere with you raising your children. It's a lot of factors that go into that. But when you're talking about the super thug or the super feminine, that comes from lack of fathers usually. And I think when you have that going on with the father in the house, like Dwayne Wade and his son, his boy, that now identifies as a girl, I think a lot of times the father is kind of messed up himself. Shout out to Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. All right. But anyway, I'll move on. Oh, speaking of Will Smith, remember the whole thing about the entanglement with him and his wife and the boy they had in their house, August Alsina? Well, August Alsina had this long post of him talking. I don't know if it was from a TV show or what, but it was a long thing talking about, I found love and it's in a very uncommon place. And then I want to show y'all who has been able to give me this love. And then the man came out. I was like, oh, okay, I know what's going on there. Maybe August and Jada were also with Will at the same time. Maybe Will and, you see what I'm saying? So you get into the deviant kind of demonic type stuff. That's going to also influence kids to go a different direction, aside from the father not being there. If you got evil, crazy, messed up parents that are just really ridiculous and gross. But I'll move on. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right. Oh, hold on. I'm trying to find that. I'm trying to find that clip. I'm going to find it one day. One of these days, I will find it. But I'll move right along here. Yeah, demonic is the word. Holly weird is very, very weird. Absolutely weird. That's kind of what goes on. So when a lot of these kids grow up, in Hollyweird, you can't be surprised when you see what you see. It has to be kind of expected to a certain extent, right? You got to expect it. You got to see it coming. All right. Do I have more that I wanted to get to? Of course I do have more I wanted to get to. Let's talk about the Idaho suspect that they caught. Let's talk about that right quick, and then I'll keep on rocking. I'll get to the calls in a minute. But the Idaho suspect. Now, you guys have seen this person, the Idaho suspect. People may not want me to say his name, but the police in Idaho wanted to say the guy's name and show his face because you may recognize him. You may know somebody that knows him. You may have information that can help the prosecution get this guy up under the penitentiary if that's what it calls for. If he's the guy that did it, because it's a suspect right now, we can't say for certain that he did do it. But if he did do it, then we need to get him up under the penitentiary. And the best way to do that would be to have people send information, whatever you know. If you know this guy, you know kind of what's going on, please get him out the way and get him up under the penitentiary. Now, let me go ahead and put his picture up. And again, I need to do this because what they're asking for. So I'm not trying to promote this guy or whatever. It's just, it is what it is. All right. So we know the whole story about the Idaho killings. You had 4 college students. I'll put the pictures up first, of course. Let me see. So man charged with murder and stabbing deaths of 4 Idaho students. You have Kaylee Gonzalez, Ethan Chapin, Zana Kernodle, and Madison Mogan. All 4 of these college students were killed in a dorm house. May they rest in peace. It's really unfortunate what happened here. I think they were stabbed to death in their sleep, and maybe at least one of them was not sleeping. I'm not really sure, but I think the story is that they were all stabbed to death and they were sleeping. So very, very crazy story. It happened about 6 weeks ago. And for a while, they didn't have anything, or that's the way it appeared. I'm sure they had more than what they were letting on and more than what they showed to the public, but it didn't look very hopeful. A lot of the evidence had been kind of tampered with. People were going in and out the house. Random TikTokers were showing up, and it was a whole big mess. But they finally found a guy, and his name is, what's his name? Give me a second so I can find it. Brian Christopher Kohlberger. That's the guy's name, Brian Christopher Kohlberger. They found him. He's 28 years old. He was in Pennsylvania, in between Allentown and Scranton, if I'm not mistaken. If wrong, let me know in the comments below. Monroe County, Pennsylvania. And I think that he is from there, and that's the reason why he was out there. Very unfortunate situation, very bad situation. May all of them rest in peace. But this guy, I'm pretty sure, is the one who did it. And I'm going to show you this guy's picture just because we need to see this person. If you recognize him, please call the authorities. Tell them what you know. Give them anything that they need to help prosecute him. So this is the guy right here, Brian Christopher Kohlberger, 28 years old. I guess he's from Pennsylvania and was living in Washington State, going to Washington State University. I said University of Washington before. He was from Pennsylvania going to Washington State University in Pullman, Washington, which is about 15 minutes or miles away from the school where the 4 students were killed in Idaho. Because the school they went to, University of Idaho, it was right there in Moscow, Idaho, which is on the border of Idaho and Washington State. This guy was right across the border in another college, living right there. So for him to drive to this location where the killing happened is a hop, skip, and a jump, like 15 minutes, 15 miles, or whatever the case may be. And they said they found a car, a white Hyundai in Pennsylvania, and there was a white car that they were asking about on footage from Idaho. So it may be the same car. Now, this is the guy right here on the left, and on the right, that's Ted Bundy. Now, is it a coincidence or not? Understand, this is a major in criminology, and not just that, he was a PhD student in college for criminology. He is a master's holder. He has a master's degree in criminology right now. He was going for a PhD in criminology. So that means he would study guys like this. He would study serial killers, people that commit heinous acts. That would be what he does. So he studies these people and then goes out there and commits the crime, allegedly, that guys like this would commit. So my question would be, he's 28 years old right now. Has he killed anybody else? I would presume he has. I would presume so. He lived with, it might have been his aunt or his uncle, or he was around them. The aunt said he was weird. He was a vegan, and if you had any pots that ever had any kind of meat in it, he would not eat it. He refused to eat it. He was OCD like that. Just an extreme kind of person. And like I said, he is a PhD student in criminology. So, I mean, it's probably him. It's probably him. I heard some rumors about his Instagram following some of the girls that were killed in the attack. They may or may not be true, but what is true is that he lived right by the college. He probably had a white Hyundai that he drove from Idaho back to Pennsylvania. He is a PhD in criminology. So he would study guys like Ted Bundy. All right. So that's pretty much what it is. This has been a crazy story that had pretty much gripped the entire nation. Personally, I was following it, but not that closely. But I kept my eye on it to kind of see what was happening, see some of the more important updates. And right when this happened, I figured this would be a really big thing. That's probably him, and he may be a sociopath. And these kind of guys, they kind of want recognition and attention. He might say he killed more people. So keep an eye out for that. If there's any kind of unsolved murders, anyone that may have been assaulted, anybody that had any kind of run-in with this person, they're probably going to come forward pretty soon. And they got in with DNA. Is that right? I didn't hear that part. Let me just find that right quick so I can see an article, put it on the screen. Ryan Koberger DNA. Let's go ahead and find it. Let me see. Oh, there it is right there. It says police matched DNA evidence from the scene where 4 Idaho students were killed to suspects. This is on ArizonaFamily.com. Looks like a news station. Let me see if I can find this here. See, he was a grad student, Washington State University in Pullman, just 15 minutes away from the crime scene. Let me see if I can find anything about DNA in this. All right. So DNA found in Idaho was taken through a public database to find potential matches for family members. The source said once potential family matches were found, subsequent investigative work by law enforcement led to the identification of Koberger. According to CNN source, detectives are staying tight-lipped on any possible motive. One of the victims, Zaina Kernodle, was from Avondale, in Arizona. Arizona's family tried talking to her father today, but was unavailable. Okay, so they had a DNA match. That's how they found him on a DNA match. Interesting. See, I thought maybe they, were checking the car or they had a big canvas around the area to see if anybody from that particular region could have done it or could have been in the region when the whole thing happened. So, hey, that's crazy. They found him in Monroe County in what's the name of that place? I want to say the name. I want to say Adairsville. That's not in that's in Atlanta. Monroe County, Pennsylvania, not Monroe County, New York. That's Rochester, New York. But they found him. Where was this? You guys probably know where he was at. But Monroe County, that's what I got for you right now. But I don't know the exact town. But I know you guys know what's going on. All right. Well, Scranton, Ohio, no. Pennsylvania. Yeah, in between Allentown, Pennsylvania, and Scranton, Pennsylvania, in Monroe County. All right. So, yeah, we're going to see what's going to happen. We're going to see if now some say that he might not be by himself. He may have had help here. But I don't think so. I think it was just him. I think he had, it was Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. So Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, that's where it was. This is in actually Carbon County, but it's by Monroe County. So it says Carbon County. Yeah, that's what it is. So up in the mountains in northeast Pennsylvania, close to Jersey. Well, not that close, but close enough to Jersey. Yeah, over there, over that way. So we'll see what's going on with it. We'll see if it's anybody else that they're going to try to pick up. But I think they found their guy. I believe they found their guy. I don't think it's going to be anybody else that's involved with the whole situation. Rest in peace to those who lost their life behind whoever did it, probably him. And prayers out to the family. I know it's a rough thing to lose your son, your daughter, 20, 21 years old. You send them to college, hope for the best, and they come back like that. And you would not think this would happen in a small town like this, way far away from any kind of urban environment. It's crazy. So, yeah. And I'm going to tell you this, though. Be safe out there. If you're in college and you can carry, please do so. Be aware of your surroundings. Have a secure home as much as you can. Because I think what happened here, they were killed in their sleep. Now, I don't know how the guy got in the house. I think he might have come in through the back door or something. Please secure your home. Don't fall into a sense of security that's not really real. Don't fall into false sense of security. Make sure that you secure yourself at all times, for sure. All right. Let me see. Terry says, I don't know how they're posting info on this. The police said today they are not able to give any info because it's against Idaho law. Well, they may not be able to give info that's not public. I mean, some things are just out there. They kind of know what's going on. It's public information. They can't post anything that is not public at this moment. That's probably what's going on. Yeah, stay strapped and secure your home because, you may feel safe. Like you can't, I ain't locking my door, man. It's all good. I ain't locking my door. I could just do whatever I want. I'm walking around, but stay safe, stay alert. You may live in a relatively safe place where nothing happens, but that's when things happen. You think nothing happens. You think it's all good. Sunshines and rainbows, and then something happens. So be careful. Be careful. So She Will says the unlocked kitchen door has been mentioned as where he came in. Exactly. Yeah. So please secure your homes. You don't want some crazy lunatic to come in your house and just do whatever they want. You know, especially right now with the southern border being wide open. Have you guys been watching that whole situation? The border's wide open and people are coming across, breaking into homes, or at least trying to. There was one lady that had her home, like they were trying to kick the door down, but they were unsuccessful. Let me see if I can find that clip right quick. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Let me see if I can find it. Border home invasion. That's probably what it is. And that might work. Or maybe not. I'm gonna find these videos for you guys. I'll be trying to find stuff on the fly, and I can't always do it. But I'm gonna try to find these clips. In fact, hold on. There's a lot of home invasion videos. Be careful out here. But what else we got going on? Idaho suspect, they got him. Oh, Andrew Tate. Now, a lot of you guys may know who Andrew Tate is. You may not know who he is. But Andrew Tate is, I guess you would say, an influencer at this point. That's not how he made his money, I don't think. I think what happened is he made his money from a couple of things. First, he was a kickboxing champion, and then he had like a cam girl site. I don't want to get too much into that. Let me get little kids watching. But that's what I'm reading. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. But he's a rich guy. He drives a Bugatti, as he says it. He is American born, but his dad moved the family to UK when he was like a teenager. So he has kind of this funny accent. That's why. It's because he grew up half in the US and then half over there. So you get the UK mixed with the States accent. That's kind of the way he speaks. But anyway, he's a very popular person. He had quite a few videos, interviews of his go viral. And he got canceled earlier this year because what happened was, you see, Andrew Tate has a lot of controversial things he says about women. And, you know, a lot of your soccer moms and whatnot, they don't like what he says. They don't like what he says. They're not really feeling it too tough at all. So, and the reason they don't like it is because a lot of little boys or like young guys, like middle school boys, they caught up on it. So you got these 11-year-old boys talking like Andrew Tate talks to women, and Tate as an adult is already seen as misogynistic and he hates women, right? So you got little boys talking like that. It's like, oh, no, we can't have this. So the moms are upset. The soccer moms, they formed like Voltron. They formed together and they protested against Andrew Tate. And that's what got him canceled, because they were like, basically, look, social media, it's him or us. He's got to go. He's toxic. He's a dangerous influence on the young minds of America. He's got to go. So he was canceled. And like I'm talking about all social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere. He was taken off. He had millions of followers deleted, like Alex Jones was. And then he couldn't use PayPal anymore. It was a whole big electronic just deletion from presence, from memory. But that didn't quite work, really, because what happened was he's been on every podcast you could mention. I probably could get Andrew Tate on the podcast. He's been everywhere. Big podcast, going viral, clips everywhere. And then he was already popular before Kevin Samuels died. But when Kevin Samuels died and his videos went viral and he was already popular, he just zoomed to the moon as far as popularity, talking about men's issues, dealing with women, dealing with money and stuff like that. You know, man's man, alpha male type guy. So he lives in Romania, and he had been arrested earlier this year for human trafficking, but he didn't go to jail or anything. And he said that it was a swatting attack. It was a swatting attempt. That's why he didn't go to jail, because it wasn't legitimate. but he's been arrested again. Him and his brother Tristain been arrested again for the same thing. And I saw the video. I was like, man, that can't be that can't be right, because there's got to be an old video. But when I saw the video, when I posted the video, somebody said, hey, in Romanian, there's information about Pele dying. You know, Pele, may he rest in peace, best football soccer player ever in the whole world. Pele was Michael Jordan, Muhammad Ali. He was like that. We're talking about soccer, as we call it in the States, football to you guys overseas, or you football enthusiasts out there. I don't want to offend nobody, get nobody triggered, but anyway. So it said something about Pele dying. I'm like, okay, it's got to be recent, because why would that be up there? The swatting incident happened earlier this year, like in February or something like that. Not 2 days ago. This has got to be recent. So it made sense for this to be a legitimate thing. The video of him being arrested for human trafficking. Now, some people are celebrating because they think Andrew Tate's toxic and he hates women, all this, that, and the third. And they think that since he runs a cam girl site, allegedly, then that's human trafficking. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure that really qualifies as that, because if he deserves to get arrested, if he deserves to be arrested for, I'm gonna play this in the background as I'm talking. If he deserves to be arrested for running the cam girl site, then how about Elon Musk? Because let's not play games here. You can find whatever kind of stuff you want on Twitter. What Andrew Tate does, or the website he may have, if it's all about having a website that's not really family friendly, then Twitter.com is a trillion times worse. Now, I think the problem with Tate, from what they say, is that he had girls in his house. Now, I don't think they're there against their will. You see what I'm saying? But I'm not sure about the laws of Romania. You see, you can have girls in your house like Hugh Hefner in the States and it not be a problem. But maybe if you're in a foreign country, it's not the same way. I don't know how it works. I have no idea. But as far as I know, he has been arrested for this. But he's been released and he's out. He's not in jail. He probably won't go to jail because, again, he was arrested for the same thing earlier in the year and didn't go to jail. So if he's rearrested for the same thing, they would keep him if it was legitimate, I would think. But maybe I'm wrong about that. And if I'm wrong, y'all let me know in the comments below. But basically, he said that he saw this whole thing coming because of what happens to you when you get to a certain level of popularity and the powers that be don't want you to be there. Now, some may say, well, ABL, you're reaching. It's not really like that. He somebody may have swatted him. Maybe he did something illegal. It's not really that deep. You're reaching. Well, maybe I'm not reaching. Maybe I'm not necessarily saying what he's saying is true myself, but I'm just saying it's possible. It's definitely possible. Let me see if I can find the particular clip, the quick one that sums it on up, so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Adrian says it's like a setup. Yeah. Is he going to go to jail because of the setup? Set up by the haters? It probably was a setup, a big setup over a big nothing burger. That's probably what's going on. And if it's not, I can't tell. But let me get to that particular clip, then we keep on rocking and rolling. Again, if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. That'll help me out in a tremendous way. But yeah, so, I mean, but we've seen, to talk about that whole thing of being set up and all that, we've seen that happen. We see it going on right now with Trump. Trump is going through so many legal battles right now that aren't even needed. Why go through all this stuff? Like, okay, they're talking about his tax returns. Why is that even a thing you really want? What are you going to find in the 1040 EZ form that you don't find in the income disclosure form? You're not going to find anything. He already put out the income disclosure that tells you where he gets his money from, how much money it is, who the money, like, it tells you everything. Okay. That came out right in 2015. So why are we 7 years later still trying to get tax returns for what? It's not going to do anything. I think the average normie, you don't know anything about money or taxes or laws, thinks it's going to help. They think that it's going to be something they're going to find on their tax return, a 1040 form. You won't find anything. Because remember, they found some returns from, or a 1040 form from Rachel Maddow. They found one of those. They put it on TV, and it was nothing burger. It was like Geraldo's vault. They didn't find anything. Not gonna find anything on there. Now that got, I guess, like full returns with his like documents, but they're not going to find anything on there. If the IRS did not have anything on there, then why would the federales have anything on there? If there was anything on there to find, the IRS would have found it because they want their money. They don't care about all this, oh, you're doing something illegal. They want their money. You're only going to get in trouble legally from the IRS if you do something that they can make you pay money for, right? They lock you up and say, okay, pay this fine and you come out. You know, pay this get out of jail fee. You know, they only worry about their money. But again, if you did anything wrong, they're going to find it and make you pay. The IRS, they'll probably find something that you do wrong before the federales do because they want their money. They are probably less likely to turn a blind eye to some kind of wrongdoing because they're driven by their cash. But the feds have political motives, and we all know about that. The IRS does too, but the feds more than anybody else because that's just how they operate, unfortunately. And it's not even about regular normal federal agents. It's about the people that are at the top, I guess you would say. It's about them. They have their own political motives, and they use those at the top to get these things done. Here's a video right here that I wanted to show about Andrew Tate. Yeah, Tate might be a disgusting person, Nikki, to you. I understand that. That's totally within your right to believe that, but it doesn't mean that he should go to jail. Like you said, innocent legally, but morally disgusting. That's okay. That's totally fine. But as long as you understand what you do from what you said, I'm giving you your credit here. As long as you understand that just because you may not like a person because of their morality or their politics or whatever, that doesn't mean they should get locked up for what they didn't do. It's just like Whoopi Goldberg and the whole thing about her being canceled. She literally didn't do anything. All she did was repeat what she was talking about before, and they tried to cancel her. It's like, look, I'm not a fan of hers. I hate her politics. I hate her show. I hate her face. I don't like Whoopi Goldberg, okay? But it's unfair to accuse her of wrongdoing when she didn't do anything wrong. It's unfair to cancel her for no reason. I gotta defend that regardless of how, I might not like you at all. You might be a trash human. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna still defend what should be defended. Period. Point blank. So here's a video I wanted to get to.
How did you find
I want to, I'm talking right here over it. Let's go ahead and roll it.
How did you find out about it first? Like, what was the first thing that happened?
The truth is this. So I knew it was coming. I absolutely not knew it was coming because of how orchestrated it was. The only thing, and I'll state this at the beginning, the only reason I'm upset by being canceled is because I've expired one of my lives. Because first you get canceled, then they make up a reason to put you in jail. And if that fails, they kill you.
So there you go. That's what he predicted. Because the first thing was getting canceled, right? Then it was, okay, we got to put you in jail. And who also said the same thing about, they got to put you in jail after canceling? Kanye West said the same thing. And he mentioned taxes. That could be a reason why you got to go to jail. And there was one video I wanted to show you guys. This is a real thing here. This is very real because I've experienced this before. I've experienced this personally in my real life, aside from YouTube or anything like that. I'm talking about just that you will face things like this in the world if you come in contact with certain people. Let's go ahead and roll this clip right here. And then I'll get to the super chats and the calls. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Give me a few. I'll get to the calls. Happy New Year as well.
The people who've been canceled at my level, there's only 4 or 5 of them. I think I'm the 5th. And yeah, I'm the last one who's managed to stay all over the social networks. But the problem is that comes with its own issues, right? Because when the Matrix cancels you, it goes in 3 stages. First, they try and shut you up. If that fails, they try and put you in jail for something you didn't do. And if that fails, they kill you, right? So slowly we're moving on to stage 2. They've attempted already to raise some bullshit. Like in the height of the cancellation when they were...
Sorry for the language.
Lying about me all over the news. They were calling up reporters, whoever these reporters are, managed to find details of my ex-girlfriends, and were calling up ex-girlfriends saying, do you have anything bad to say about Andrew Tate? We'll pay you £100,000 for a story, which is effectively a bribe, right? You're effectively bribing them £100,000 to say bad things about me, trying to raise, because their biggest problem with their cancellation is that I'm somehow dangerous to women, but there's not a single victim or a single woman who's come forward.
Now, pause. Now, does that sound familiar to you? Does that sound familiar? Remember a guy named Brett Kavanaugh? Remember Christine Blasey Ford, who probably was paid some money? Well, she did make a bunch of money at the end. We know that. She got a big bag of money, a book deal, Time magazine covers, wall-to-wall news coverage. They thought that she was like the next coming of the big man upstairs. It was crazy. But he had 65 women that come to his defense that knew him from high school. They wrote a letter in his defense saying Brett would never do that. He was an angel. I love Brett Kavanaugh. They went on TV, all defending Brett Kavanaugh. That right there tells you he was an excellent, excellent person. The Boy Scout wouldn't hurt to fly. That tells you that right there. Same thing with him. If what he's saying is true, and they were calling his ex-girlfriend trying to get him to lie on Andrew and say crazy things, and nobody took the bait, then he must be a good guy. If he was a bad guy, somebody might just do that out of spite and lie. Maybe. But it didn't do it, apparently. Again, if he's telling the truth. Brett Kavanaugh, we saw it happen with Brett Kavanaugh. We saw it happen with Brett Kavanaugh. We know that's what happened. He had proof, Kavanaugh did. He had evidence that he was never there with this lady at the particular time she said she was, that he was. If not for the diary, the calendar diary, and all the witnesses that came to his defense, he might be locked up right now over that. You see how that works? All because they wanted to not have him be in the Supreme Court to overturn Roe v. Wade, which is what happened eventually.
In fact, every woman who's come forward is saying the opposite. There's a bunch of hot girls coming forward saying Tate's a nice guy. So they're like, oh shit, we need a victim here. So they were trying to buy victims, and that failed. Even my exes stuck by me, which actually surprised even me, because I think if you ask any man if they're to contact your last 20 exes, would they stick by you for $100,000? And most of the time it's no. So that failed. And now they're looking at new avenues. There's legal letters starting to come through for a bunch of garbage. So now they're going to try and get me in trouble with the law for things I haven't done because I failed to be. It happened in Canada. You know this very well. They couldn't get the truckers to go home, so all of a sudden they're all getting in legal trouble, right? All of a sudden they're getting tax audited and this craziness and that craziness. It's what they do. They weaponize the law against you.
Now, I've faced that before in my real life, like you're talking about right there with the crazy little stuff, little tax stuff. They get you on that first. Going back to the whole Al Capone days. Now, obviously, Al Capone probably should have been in jail, but it's like, yo, find me guilty on something. Okay, prosecute me for a crime that I committed. Don't just make up a thing talking about, tax evasion because you think I should be in jail. Because if that happens, then where does it stop? Okay, you think Andrew Tate, Kanye West, they should be in jail because they're too powerful. They're too influential. They're saying the wrong thing. They're saying hate speech. So rather than locking them up on hate speech, which I can't do because it's not legal to be a hater or to have hate speech. That's not legal. That's not illegal. So rather than doing that, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna try to get them on some kind of crazy little tax loophole, something like that, to get them locked up. And I've been there, not quite on that level, but like I said before in my video, what happened was back in the day. If you're watching my man who was right there with me, you know what I'm talking about. I almost said no names in this particular story, quick story. But back in the day, I was doing my club flyer thing, right? You guys know what I was doing. I was printing and shipping boxes of flyers. Sometimes I would deliver it to where you were. So I'm going to a bunch of clubs and lounges, bars, stuff like that with boxes at all hours of the day, boxes of flyers. You put the flyers on somebody's windshield, you put them in the mall or whatever to promote your party, to promote your event, to promote your location or whatever. So I'm going to one particular establishment, dropping off flyers like once a week, twice a week sometimes. Usually like once a week, I go with a box of flyers, 5,000, 2,500 or whatever. So this person was being watched by, I'm not sure if it was the feds or if it was a local police, but they're being watched. Now, I get audited by the city, and my friend does too, who also was in the same kind of industry. And we knew what it was, because this is something brand new. I'm just doing flyers. I'm not a rich person. Why am I being audited? It's because they thought that I could be some kind of way connected potentially to what he was doing that was illegal, to what the guy was doing to own the restaurant. He went to jail for like 7 years eventually, but they were trying to see if I knew anything, if I would tell, or if I was involved, using the audit to get me. You see what I'm saying? So if there's anything fishy there, oh, they got you with the audit. But if not, you still going to have to participate, and you still got to call and figure out what's going on, and you still got to kind of talk. No lawyer or nothing like that sometimes. You don't know what your rights are. That's how they get you. What he's saying here is right, 100%. And like I said, my thing was on a much lower level. I was not ever involved in any kind of crime. The guy that I knew was involved in crime. He got locked up. It was in the news and everything. I won't say his name, but that's how they do.
And they're gonna try that one next. So
oh yeah, Wesley Snipes got hit by the IRS. A lot of people get hit by the IRS or the feds or somebody or some legal organization when you're doing things in the incorrect way. That's kind of how that goes.
What sort of legal strategies are they coming at you with?
I've started getting legal letters now for strange things, revisions of tax returns, which is fine. I'm completely legit there. Speeding bullshit, driving license infringements, car tax thing, like stupid, tiny, dumb shit is all starting to come through at once. Someone has looked at me or is looking at me in multiple countries and just trying to find anything they can nitpick at to send me a letter for, to get me in trouble for. And
exactly, that's how it goes. So what he's saying right there is right. Now you could think Andrew Tate is a piece of garbage or whatever, but what he's saying is we've seen it happen over and over again. We see people get canceled, they get debanked, they get all kind of stuff going on. We know how it works, but I digress. Sorry for the cursing and stuff like that. It's not my fault. Please blame Andrew Tate, not me. All right. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. And we need to get to a few things here. Let's get to super chats, and then we keep on rocking and rolling. We'll get to the calls in a little bit. The number to call, 434-658-1220. I'll be leaving a little bit early tonight because we got New Year's Eve. So a little teeny bit early, but not super early. I'll be here for quite a while. Thank you to Stewie PID, who says, I am Caucasian. I'll be taking the blame for any inconvenience ABL has or will experience tonight. There you go. Blaming the white man. Thank you, Stewie. I appreciate you. Thank you to Archive Media One, who's Happy New Year, ABL, and everyone. Let's all go in courageously strong and continue to promote the truth unapologetically in 2023. Love your content. God bless and peace. Thank you for that. I appreciate you, boss. Thank you to Alien Spaceship, who says, Georgia Peach says hello and is thankful for the prayers. Shout out to Georgia Peach. Hopefully you are well. If you're watching, shout out to you and all your loved ones. Thank you for still rocking with us. Thank you to S4, who says, hey, ABL, peace sign, heart emoji. Happy New Year. Thank you for that. Appreciate you. Martin Santiago says, Happy New Year, ABL. I want to see you on all the mega channels next year. Tim Cass, Rogan, all that. God bless you, your fam, and 3rd Infantry Division, U.S. Thank you for that, man. Definitely. Hey, Tim Cass, I'm trying to get on Tim Cass, man. Every time they say, yo, who should we bring on? I'm like, yo, you know, don't look no further. Look no further. I am right here. I'll be right here with you. So don't look any further. You don't got to really ask around. You don't got to try to figure out who you're going to bring on next. Bring me. And it's going to be a good show. So, hey, Tim Cass, if you're listening, anybody from your show listening, you got to bring me on. I'm going to be a great guest. Thank you to Peanut A16, who said, thank you for the thank you. I appreciate you for that, man, for the thank you emoji. Thank you to Sherlock Hemlock, who says, Happy New Year's Eve, ABL. Love your political analysis and your great sense of humor. Happy 2023 to all. Let's hope for the best. Thank you for that. Thank you to Ocean Away 007, who says, be happy for no reason. Like a child, if you are happy for a reason, you're in trouble because that reason can be taken from you. That was very good. Might have to take that from you, man. Or thank you, Happy New Year, ABL. Don't ever get your worth from others. Very, very good. That's good words of encouragement right there. I might have to say that and credit you for that next time I say it. Thank you to Zealand Zen for your being a member. I appreciate you for that. Thank you to O'Reilly, who says it's Tate arrogance people don't like. Yeah, they don't like the arrogance. They don't like his attitude. They don't like the it's the same thing with Trump and everybody else. The same old thing. It's a double-edged sword. What makes him attractive to many is also what makes him repulsive to many. It's a double-edged sword. It always like that. F Ranger Xbox said Happy New Year. Thank you to that for your donation. What the says Happy New Year ABL. Thank you for that. Vince G says, why don't you taking your wife out for New Year's Eve? Do you like text message? I've been divorced for a while. I might have to do a video on that because people just don't really, because I mean, if you're not in the streams all the time, you wouldn't know that. But even if I was still married, I would not go out New Year's Eve. I'm not the kind of guy that likes that. I like being more at home. Or I would go to a small house party. I don't like going out New Year's Eve because it's just a bunch of amateurs running around. It's not really my vibe. I don't like being around amateurs. It's just like being out driving on Christmas time. People can't drive because they are just now driving for the first time. They don't understand how to deal with traffic and a lot of people. They got anxiety and nervous. I don't want to be around that. I'd rather would be around people that I know and have that be that. So it is what it is. Tim says, I'm single AVL. Oh, there you go. there y'all go. All right. But yeah, I think that's it for super chats. Now it's time for the calls. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Vince G says, I never had a good New Year's Eve going out. I agree. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, I rather, I'm not even the kind of the going out kind of person. I like going to events where people are going to be there that I know. I'm not really the kind of guy that likes to go to the club. I used to go to the club all the time for my job. When I was doing the club flyer stuff, I'd be in the club all the time. I hated it. I'd be in there bored, get ready to go to bed. It's not my lane. I would go to like a bar and not even drink, just sit there and talk to people. You know what I enjoy doing? If I go out, quote unquote, let me go to a bar where it's not too loud, and then if there's a political conversation going on, if there's a political argument going on, I went in. I'll talk your head off for an hour straight about politics. To me, that's fun. But going to a place where it's loud, I can't hear myself think. Maybe I'm old and it's just like that for me. But I've been like that. I never liked that kind of stuff. But everybody likes different things. So if you enjoy that kind of vibe, more power to you. More power to you. But that just ain't my thing. All right, we got super chats on deck. We got calls on deck. 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. All right. You guys are wild already. Okay, let's try this. 918, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, baby. Oklahoma, how you doing, buddy?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
Hey, just having a nice little party at home by myself and staying out of trouble.
There you go, man. Stay out of trouble. Just, be cool.
Yeah, exactly. But I got to let you know, man, I think after your show, I'm going to go out with maybe a few friends to the casino and get a little crazy. I might be doing some drinks and doing some gambling and maybe shooting some fireworks off the top of the building. And, if I'm out drinking and driving, I could get into a wreck. But thankfully, that's only going to happen in Grand Theft Auto Online.
Oh, there you go. Okay, there you go. That makes a lot of sense. Much better. I'm about to say, wait a minute. So you can't do that, but in GTA Online, that's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, do it in a world where it's all safe. Yeah, there's no consequences. That's how I'm going to celebrate the new year.
Exactly, 100%.
Yeah. But hey, last week you mentioned something that caught my attention about you building your own PCs.
Yes.
Yeah. See, I'm into that too. I've been doing it for like 20 years, And yeah, so when I hear someone else say that, I'm like, oh, I want to know more about what they got, So what kind of system you running, you like you like AMD, Intel, or you have a preference, or what kind of stuff you running?
I got an AMD right now. I got an AMD. I I forgot what I had in here because I got a couple machines actually. I got 3 rigs. This is a regular. It's like a mid-sized tower right here, but I have a mini ITX tower. I got probably about 3 cards in it. Well, I have 3 cards total. One card in my graphics card right here. I think it's a AMD Radeon. I forget what it is. I got to look at my specs here. I got I got 32 gigs of RAM. I have I got 3 hard drives. I got 2 NVMe right on the motherboard, and then I got like a regular SSD in the back. Then I have an internal card for my camera. So it can capture it's like a capture card, internal capture card for the camera. So I got a few things on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I was just curious. Yeah, I've been doing it for a long time, and I love geeking out on PC hardware. I'm always down for that. But yeah, I use mine mainly for gaming. I don't do any streaming or anything. I'm just pretty much a gamer on mine. So,
oh yeah, definitely.
Well, anyway, man, I'll let you go. Have a good night, everybody. Be safe. And love the show, man, and love everyone here. And have a good night, dude.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, later, man.
All right, great call from my man JB Scotsman for Oklahoma. But what I have on my what I have on my I got an AMD Ryzen 9 3950X. Okay, 4200, 16 core. Yeah. And what's my graphics card? It's a Radeon. Hold on. I'm gonna look at this right quick. Is it AMD Radeon? I think it is. Cause I know I got my card by buying the whole PC and taking the card out. It was crazy. Okay, let's not do an update right now. See, I'm tripping. I am tripping. They're trying to update my thing right now. I can't do that. Okay, let's go to 503 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Good evening, Anthony. I'm from Portland. I wanted to just bring up one topic that was related to the New York prosecuting or not prosecuting minors.
Yes.
In Portland, when I was younger, we had a measure called 111, and it put mandatory sentencing on juvenile violent offenders. I don't know if you're aware of that, but in in our town, a neighborhood was dramatically affected by that measure. When a lot of investors, after the 111 was passed, came into a low-income neighborhood in northeast Portland and offered people low money to buy their houses. We saw a lot of turnover in real estate in that neighborhood, and as a result, a great amount of gentrification, as one might say. And so I'm kind of wondering what your thoughts are on effects or on measures that go after young offenders or young criminals, and how that can affect property value in those areas. And in the case of New York, would that maybe result in lower property value?
So
like more crime potentially?
Yeah, if you have if they're going to just allow things to happen and not really arrest anybody, just have the soft on crime policy, that'll most certainly reduce property value. Like if they Section 8 vouchers, things of that nature, to go into more affluent areas, that definitely reduce the property value. And it'd be kind of a domino effect because people that live in the area are going to realize this. And once they move out, they're not really going to have more quality people to move back in. So it'd be a further decline in the property value. It just go down and down and down and down. It wouldn't help. It'd be all bad. What you need to do for these offenders is actually prosecute them and give them a serious sentence rather than just a slap on the wrist or no prosecution at all.
So from my experience, when I saw similar legislation or mandates kind of put from the political level down to the policing level or the court system, what I've seen is, again, a lot of people coming in and investing money to buy cheap real estate, cheap property, putting some time, some effort into fixing it up, But then as that kind of word spreads, a lot more people start to try to invest in those areas or buy in. For an example, I could say the opposite of the effect or the extreme of those effects were maybe 20 years later, I'm driving taxi cab and there's this young gentleman in my cab. He's way too intoxicated. He's telling me about how he made a bunch of money. He went to school at a young age. I don't exactly know what he did, but he ended up buying into this Northeast Portland area at an exorbitantly high rate. I think something like $500,000 for just a little house, that was gentrified. And now you're getting kind of like the opposite effect. I mean, that's a very liberal area now. The people are voting to give up more of their tax dollars and to increase taxes to fund things like homelessness or drug addiction, which we're not seeing a lot of progress on. Especially these are the same types of people that moved in and voted for things like legalization of drugs, which we've seen in our area. And that's resulted in a lot of homelessness and a lot of increased crime. So it's kind of like a pendulum effect. Would you not agree? Once you swing one way, the effects can kind of get out of hand and start throwing things back to the other direction.
Well, absolutely, 100%. Because when you do anything to the extreme, it's gonna go one way. It's gonna go the other way. That's usually how it works. I mean, what should happen is you just need to do common sense things to fix some problems, and some problems you're not going to really be able to fix. You're not really going to be able to try and solve homelessness by throwing money at it. When you try to do stuff like that, all that does is just fuel some of these NGOs, other random organizations. It helps them to have some kind of revenue source, but it doesn't really help the problem of homelessness. It's just people are going to see the actual results in the end. And I think sometimes they know what the results are going to be, but they don't want to say it because they want to achieve that goal without appearing like they want to achieve that goal. Like they want to achieve the far pendulum swing without doing an obvious thing to accomplish it, if that makes any sense.
Well, I just hope that we can, as a country, and maybe even in places like where I live in Portland, we can stop going to such extreme measures to try to control our situation and kind of maybe get back to some basics. I don't know what that would look like, but I think we've put too much power or too much of our energy and our thought process in thinking that government or police or any kind of these other entities that we put power into are going to have these effects to come and control and save us or get us out of these situations that we find ourselves in. And personally, I've been trying to explore my relationship with God and get back to the roots. My families are Catholics, Irish Catholics, going back hundreds, if not thousands of years. And so I found that as I started getting more involved in that community personally, it's helping me. And maybe if I can help myself eventually, maybe I can help others. But anyway, thank you for my call tonight, and God bless you, sir.
Thank you for the call, man. God bless you. Happy New Year.
Bye-bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Great call. And while that call was going on, which is a great call, by the way, I found the clip I was trying to find earlier. No, that wasn't it. I thought I found it. I came real close, but I will find that clip earlier that I was trying to find about the if you come up in a single parent household, you have a high chance of going to the penitentiary if it's your mother only raising you. But if you have two parents or just a father, you have the same chance of not going to prison. Let's keep on going here. Let's go to 252. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to? All right. I don't know what happened. You can be getting nervous now. No nervous purpose. Okay. Let's try. The phone lines are blowing up. Y'all please hang with me. 623 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, it's Kong from Phoenix. How are you doing today?
Well, about yourself?
Yeah, I'm good. So I got some more news from Arizona.
All right.
So apparently our recount for the Attorney General just finished, right?
Yeah.
And the Republican candidate netted closest gap from 500 votes to 280.
Oh wow!
And apparently this result was known weeks before, but Katie Hobbs decided to delay the result of it, so that I think that Kerry Lake and the Attorney General filed their lawsuit before that information went public.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was thinking, this wouldn't be happening if it's not for rhinos from the state offices. Like I said, Maricopa election system is screwing all that stuff, right? But our recorder and the board of supervisors are mostly Republican. And the guy that's running for the recorder, he campaigning on the fact that, the election were not honest back in 2018. We must make them better. Well, as soon as we elected him, he said that, the 2020 is completely fair, and, tried to walk back on it.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's crazy how that works. They say pretty much anything when it's politically expedient to do so. That's pretty, if you're going to say something, just have that be consistent all the way through. Don't change it when it doesn't fit what you want to have happen.
Yes, and this is the reason why I'm not following the whole, vote red no matter who, because the Democrats, they can do that. It doesn't matter for them. But for Republicans, there's so many people who say it a certain way and do something different that you really cannot do something like that.
Yeah, only thing about that is sometimes people refuse to vote at all, and then they get the worst. Sometimes it is like the lesser of two evils, and it shouldn't be that way all the time, but sometimes it is. And what happens is people don't make the best decision all the time. They make a lot of times the absolute wrong decision.
Yeah, I know, but if that's the case, they should have voted in the primaries.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and a lot of people end up going after Lake because she dared not conceding to Katie Hobbs and tried to challenge the election.
Uh-huh.
And I said to them, why are they focusing on Lake? Try to make the election system fairer and more balanced, rather than attacking the other Republican who signed on to the omnibus bill that costs $1.7 trillion.
Right. Yeah. That was a complete mess there.
Yeah, and also most of them probably not even from the state.
Right.
Signing up on the fact that, it's all legal. The voter can just vote later on. The wait in line, it doesn't matter. Come on, man.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And also, our governor, Doug Ducey, right? He completely doesn't do anything during the Maricopa. Actually, I think his last act as governor is removing the barriers because of Biden's letter.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. I mean, he does it so quickly that I think he doesn't even read the whole letter. He just signs it right away.
Right. Exactly. You get a request from them. You just go ahead and do what you're asked. Don't even think about it at all. Just go ahead and just go forward.
Yeah. So it's I don't expect much from our Republicans in the state of Arizona. I mean, some of them are very good, but they still haven't taken over the whole state yet.
Yeah, definitely. But Arizona, the problem with Arizona is, I like Arizona. It's a good state, but it's kind of a baby California. So they still have a lot of the California type politics out there, even though it's more conservative. It's not quite the way it should be, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's because of the university, ASU, U of A, NAU, all that everything is turning Arizona blue.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely that'll definitely do it.
Yeah, and Gary Lake was campaigning on this issue too, prioritized away from public universities and to trade school and things like that.
Right.
So yeah, and since Arizona is pretty much almost basically Democrat, I'm worried about Georgia going the same way, to be honest.
Nah, Georgia is a different ball game. Like Arizona, you're in the West. You have a close proximity to California, It's not quite the same. Georgia has been deep red for a long time. The only problem with Georgia is Atlanta. Once you leave Atlanta, you're not like it's a saying down here. Atlanta is not Georgia. That's like it's kind of a phrase we say because it's night and day. People, they come to Atlanta specifically and they don't go anywhere else in the state. So it's not quite that way in Atlanta, in Georgia. In Atlanta, yes, but not in Georgia. But thank you for your call, man. I definitely appreciate you.
All right. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Thank you. All righty. Yeah, Georgia, I don't think so. You know, I think the problem with the senators that they have, Warnock and who else? Ossoff, is because of the whole voting thing, the whole voting kerfuffle that happened, which is a different story I don't want to get into. All righty, Les, what's going on?
Hey, ABL, how are you?
It's all good.
Give me 1 second. I'm trying to go somewhere where it's a little quiet. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Well, the family got together today, so I was like, okay. I was downstairs already waiting, and then you picked up. I was like, okay, let me go to the infamous laundry room from my mom. How are you, though?
Great, can't complain.
How are you celebrating so far your New Year's? Is it just you're staying in?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay in. You know, I like to kind of stay in on New Year's because when people when they go out, they don't know how to act. So I don't like to really be out on New Year's. I would do something like that on a different day. The most I would do like a little house party or something like that.
Ooh, that's nice. What are you cooking?
I don't already cook, but I have my basic little like grilled chicken and stuff like that. I got some black olives in there too, just for that, you know, little tradition.
Ooh, that sounds good. That's good though. I'm happy and I'm glad. I'm hoping actually everybody in the chat, everyone that's watching, is having a wonderful New Year's Eve by far. But I want to jump right into it with the Andrew Tate topic with the Tate brothers actually.
Yeah.
So I have to state this for the record, and I have to make it very loud and clear. I know I was seeing a lot of comments, not only in your chat, but any video that seems to pop up about the Tate brothers. There's so many comments that go into this whole, no one really, the majority of people that like what he says, except for the whole part when he talks about relationships, women and marriage, things like that. So I have to state this for the record. Let's not forget, he is from the Muslim religion. The Muslim religion states if they can afford more than one wife, up to 4 wives, they are allowed to go ahead and do so. Now, right, in regards to him, you know, speaking, I mean, we've all heard it, the way he addresses women as, you know, women as bees and things like that. I mean, I think that just all comes down to the way he wants to relate to it. Is his personal, you get like his personal preference, the way he wants to relate to it. We all don't have to agree. This is the wonderful thing about us all having a discussion. We can agree to disagree. Everyone's going to be and have different, you know, views and opinions. So, I mean, I think that's kind of the nice part where we can come in here and say, hey, I like everything you say, or the majority of 80% what you say, but you know, it's just these little things that I don't agree with. And that's the one thing that I have to make clear is the fact that, again, he is from the Muslim religion. So from that aspect, I don't agree with when he speaks about that. In the Christian religion, because I know there's a lot of people that get it twisted, and I have to start talking like this with this language. In the Christian religion, it does state, right, that when God created Adam, he saw Adam was a little bored. He created Eve for him. God didn't say, hey, I'm going to create Eve and then Evelyn for you. Mm-hmm. The Bible also states when a man leaves his home, his mother and his father, he goes then to unite with his wife as one flesh, not wives, but a wife. So I have to go ahead and put that out there on the record. It's just, he speaks in his own position because of where he's relating with the religion. So I had to knock that one out of the way. But in regards to what's going on with his whole case, I mean, we've all seen it. We've all heard it. You've played it here. He knows what it's about when you're going against the elites. And look at what we've seen it with so many other individuals that speak against the elites. Look at what happened to President Trump. That's still happening to President Trump. You know, they try to cancel him. And now they're trying to put him in prison, you know, like what's next? Look at what Kanye West has time and time again has kept on exposing in regards to the Matrix, right? And then I'm not sure if anybody remembers that show That's So Raven back in 0307.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know you're talking about Raven Simone.
Yeah, so Eddie Thomas, he's been exposing the elites in Hollywood and things of that nature, and he just got arrested as well.
Is that Orlando Brown?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
And then you have Jeffree Star. If for anyone who doesn't know who Jeffree Star is, I don't follow him personally. That's just my personal, take on it. But he's like a self-made, like makeup tutorial individual.
Yeah.
He goes ahead and he posts on his Twitter, which I came across on TikTok, a video where he did say, he said, what is a crazy, effing year. I escaped the Illuminati in 2021 and they still haven't killed me. Every day I wake up and I am grateful. So it's kind of like Andrew Tate is right on the ball. He's right there on the target. What did he say first? They try to cancel you. Then they try to put you in prison for whatever, reason that they can possibly find on you. And then your third strike is, they take you out. They kill you. So do I personally think that this is really where we're talking about with the whole elites? Of course. I mean, he's been always speaking so against the elites in every aspect. But isn't it funny that it seems that as soon as he got on Greta's nerves, this is when this all goes down twice in this year? Why didn't they keep him in prison back for, what was it, in August when he got arrested for about the same thing, human trafficking?
Right, exactly.
So I think it's sad. It's a little bit like I'm not going to say scary, but I just want to say that it's a little bit like nerve-wracking, just because of the simple fact that you speak out, you're going to be voicing your own opinion about everything that's going on in the world. And again, you're going through the 3-step process where a lot of people, and I mean, there's been some people that haven't made it out alive. So I just hope, honestly, I just hope they leave him alone. But we're gonna have to see as far as with the story and where this all goes and plays out, because as of right now, I mean, we don't know. He's still in prison, right? He's being detained or something still.
I think he's out now.
Oh, he's out, because I had read like an article that they were trying to detain him for like 30 days or something like that. So I wasn't really sure where things are going with him.
Yeah, I think he's out. I mean, but he might still be in. I mean, I don't know. It might be the same thing that happened earlier this year where it was nothing and let him out and there was no more to happen as a result. So we'll see how the whole thing plays out.
Right. But, I think it's, so let me point out another good point here. So individuals, especially men, that speak against the elites, right, and all this disgusting propaganda, and actual individuals that care about that, men, right, especially in this part of the hemisphere where we're seeing all this crazy, leftist agenda that, it's okay to call yourself a woman today if you feel as a woman being a man, and vice versa, right? If you're feeling, a woman today, that's all right. And like Andrew Tate, for example, that he's speaking out against, and he's saying, no, men should be men, men should be protectors and providers, and you shouldn't be afraid to express your masculinity, which, I mean, that's the way that's the way it should be. That's in my core foundation, like my morals and my beliefs. That's how I feel that men were truly created by God, is to be protectors and providers for women. Now, that's not okay. But then yet again, you have Cardi B, and what is that with the Stallion girl over here talking about WAP and being very, like, they are just being very disgusting. It's very pornographic stuff just splattered everywhere for everyone's eyes to just freely see. It's not, you don't have to go in this specific website anymore to pay for this stuff. It's like anywhere you turn, regular YouTube, type in Cardi B, type in, the Stallion chick, and you look her up, and it's just disgustingness everywhere, but that's okay.
Exactly. It's crazy how that works. It's crazy how that works, but
it's a crazy world. Alrighty, ABL, that's what I wanted to say. I want to wish you a wonderful rest of your evening. Shout out to the chat. I wish them a wonderful rest of their evening. Happy New Year, and hopefully you get on IG Live.
Right on. Thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you. All right.
God bless. Bye, Vio.
All right. Shout out to Les for the call. Thank you guys for being here. The number to call 434-658-1220. The number is always in the description box below. All right, Tariq, what's going on?
Hey, ABL, what's up, man? Let me tell you something about Andrew Tate, bro. I don't believe none of this. I don't believe he did any of this. These accusations has that Western feminist stench on it. That always happens when men are exceeding higher heights, getting a lot of recognition, or when they're running for office or something. This always happens where you got anonymous women coming out of nowhere and then accusing you of rape and beating you up. It's the most heinous things. And to me, I think the reason why this is happening to Andrew Tate is because of his reach. Even though they canceled him on all three platforms, thank God Elon is back and reinstated him, because that cancellation was just BS, left-wing nonsense. Even though they canceled him, the guy is still pulling millions of views. When he gets interviewed on YouTube, he pulls millions of views. And he's not just talking about male to female relationships. You know, that's a smokescreen that the liberals want you to focus on. This man is talking about the jab. He's talking about the foreign wars of the United States and the Western and the wasteful spending that we have. He's talking about like Christianity, you know, family, culture, and the religious values. And he's really trying to get men to be men, because he's absolutely right. When you have weak times, when you have hard times, it is due to weak men. And you look at these liberals who are so fake, man, to proclaim that Andrew Tate is a danger to young boys, that they care about young boys. These liberals don't say anything good about young boys. They say nothing. If they think young boys need to be trained not to rape, nobody is training young boys to rape. Nobody sits there and tells young boys to commit a crime. If a man or a boy commits a crime, they know they did wrong. That's why they don't tell nobody. I didn't have to be told not to rape when I was coming up. I already knew that was wrong and deplorable. So the thing is, all they do is lecture young boys, talk about them, talk about how toxic they are and things like that, not even trying to help their economic situation, not even trying to help their self-esteem. These liberals don't care these young boys is killing themselves or shooting up schools. They're not trying to do anything to change that. They don't even want to discuss, why do men like Andrew Tate get his following? It is because he's speaking truth to power and he's uplifting young boys. There is no other male figure with his type of money and platform that can do that. So that is why he's being attacked. And you look at it's the U.S. consulate. I believe it's the first time when he got raided in April of this year. Well, of course, it's the U.S. consulate stating that I guess they was tipped off that he was holding two women hostage, and they came and raided, and of course that's fake. But now this one, man, I think they are really trying to go for the jugular on this one. I don't believe he's released. As far as I look, he's been detained for 30 days. And I strongly believe America is involved in this. I think this is in America's interest to shut this guy up, because the country that he really talks about that is most corrupt is America. And it's and us exporting feminism and LGBTism and all this nonsense that plagues our culture, our media, that is causing men and women to fight, where conservatives and liberals can't get around. They want this nonsense to be global. So yeah, man, what's going on with Andrew Tate is extreme injustice. Now, of course, if he's guilty, of course, like, you know, throw him in jail and, you know, throw away the key. Like I don't, you know, I'm not with human trafficking, but I just think that this is easy to put on him due to his prior business. And you got all these silly feminists talking about he beats women, when the woman that he supposedly beat it was like, and he really didn't. I think he lightly slapped her, but she was like, I'm into that. Some women are into that. Regardless, she says that was consensual. I am into that type of stuff. You still got people saying to this day, regardless if that was cleared up, that he's beating women. And then you got idiotic liberals to this day, bro. It's like the brains are so stupid, saying that this man was on the run. Myself, how can a man be on the run and he's getting interviews all around the world.
Right.
It's like, bro, to me, like I said, it has that Western feminist stench where we got to take this man out. What can we do? Let's just line up a bunch of women, because it's hard to criticize rape. It's hard to criticize women, and put that feminist angle on them and take them down, bro. That's all. That's all I gotta say, man.
Thank you for your call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, take care.
I know. Great call. You guys are on fire tonight. I can't even lie to you. 773, you don't mind who I'm speaking to.
ABL, it's your retired Chicago police officer friend. First, I want to wish everybody a happy new year. In the chat, and to you personally, ABL, you had a great year of shows this year. You know, the bottom line, ABL, I believe, with Andrew Tate and all this, is that the far left, they want to silence any dissenting opinion. That's really what they want. And if you give them an opening like Tate does with some of his feminist, his opinions on women and all that, and masculinity, that gives people an opening to go after you. You yourself, ABL, you have a lot of influence. You have nearly 1 million subscribers, and they know that maybe 1 out of 4, 1 out of 5 actually subscribe who listen to you. So really, they know that you probably have 4 or 5 million followers, if not more, from all your views. But the fact that you're a very educated and polite man, you're a fair person when it comes to people's opinions and everything else, they don't go after you. But once you get a certain amount of influence, meaning millions of people are listening to you, they want to shut you up. That's what they want to do, because they realize, oh, we can't have opinions like, Anthony Brian Logan's opinion or Tate's opinion or all these other conservative opinions, because they can't defend theirs. That's why they want to silence people. It wasn't that long ago that Elon Musk was their hero with electric cars and electric this and electric that. But as soon as he got a different opinion and, took over Twitter and all that, I mean, right away they want to attack him then. This was supposed to be your hero that you're now attacking. And that's what they do. That's their typical thing to do, is to try to silence any opinion that doesn't go with their narrative. Why? Because they can't defend their opinion. As soon as you start to bring up an argument, it's a debate. Even though I'm not saying that they're wrong, even though I believe they are, but even though you're saying you have a right to your opinion and I have a right to my opinion, they don't want you to have a right to your opinion, because you might turn people's opinion around, to your way of thinking. And they can't have that. They can't have that in their mind. And that, to me, is the real problem. Well, there you go. I mean, that's pretty much my point there. You yourself should, not that you should be afraid, but I'm sure that people want to say something or do something against you because you have these conservative opinions and you have a lot of followers. I don't know if you ever felt that coming at you. I don't think so. And the reason is you haven't given them an opening. You don't allow swearing. You try to be polite. You try to listen to everybody's opinion. Then you argue back. But right away, what happens is that they can't argue. And that's their big thing. They want to shut you down because they can't defend their point of view.
Exactly. 100% correct.
Anyway, ABL, Happy New Year again. Happy New Year to everybody in chat. And I'll talk to you later.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate you. Great call. Fantastic. But yeah, I don't give them an opening. They really can't. I really don't get people to make hate videos about me. They don't really do anything because they can't. They don't really have much they can do. So it is one of those things. All right, let's go to 608. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, my name is John.
Are you there? You kind of dropped out. You good? Go ahead.
Sorry, it's very good to speak to you, Mr. Logan.
Oh, thank you for calling, man. Appreciate you.
So I wanted to ask a question in like intellectual honesty. Is it like okay to want to take a break from social media, even though that's pretty much the best place to hear the opposite side of the aisle when it comes to questions?
It's definitely okay because it can be draining. It can be very draining, and I will understand why you want to take a break. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with it at all. If you need to do something like that for your own mental health, for your own well-being, then do it.
I mean, because let's be real, everyone's lost brain cells when trying to look for any kind of honest discussion when it comes to anything on social media, regardless.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely have. It's a lot of garbage. It's a lot of filth on social media, especially on places like TikTok, where it's designed to feed you filth. So, yeah, I see exactly where you're coming from.
Algorithms.
Exactly, 100%.
I mean, like, I'm just glad that places like Parler exist, but I still have that question lingering in the back of my mind because you're never going to expand and anything in terms of intellectual honesty if you don't engage with the other side. But the problem is it's just like, how do you do that without the other side considering you cowardly? Now there is a question. There's an answer to that, obviously. Like, you can't just, as the people who actually want to have an honest conversation aren't going to throw it against you if you want to take a break for a little while. But then there's others who will just jump on you like crazy.
Right, of course. I mean, but it doesn't even really make a difference what anybody says, because whatever you need to do for yourself is all that really matters. Anybody's opinion on the outside is irrelevant, because at the end of the day, when their opinion gets said out in the ether, when it hits whatever kind of airwave, it can just go away if nobody hears it. But meanwhile, you still got to deal with yourself every day. You can't go away. You can't go anywhere. You still got to look at yourself in the mirror. You still got to get up every day, put your pants on, go outside, go to work. So opinions are totally irrelevant when it's you got to deal with every day.
Oh, Lord, yeah. I do. Is there time for one more question? I promise I'll make it quick.
Go for it.
So, like, something I've noticed with the younger crowd is, like, the quickest way I've seen the left try to spread their ideas in quote unquote social justice seems to me coming from what are quote unquote friend groups. I mean, like, everyone wants to be popular and accepted, but I've seen a lot of people, like my cousin is one of them, who basically got pressured into being a certain way, even though they grew up totally not needing to know about that stuff.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing, friend groups, especially from a young age, because people, they have a desire to fit in. You know what? That's actually a very good question, because I saw a question on social media today, actually, and it said, if you can go back and tell your 13-year-old self 3 words, what would it be? And what came to my mind right away was don't fit in, because I was doing things back then trying to fit in, nothing really drastic, but I'm coming from like a very, very poor area, no money or nothing like that. So when I got to high school, I didn't know how to really dress like a lot of the other kids. We had uniforms. I didn't know what a pair of Jordans were at all. I had no idea until I got to be 14. So I'm going to this school where it was like in a better part of town. People had a little bit of money. It's black folks, white folks, whatever. I'm seeing Jordans on. I'm like, oh, wow, now I got to be like them. So I'm trying to do things to fit in. But ultimately, don't fit in. Just be the best version of you can be. That's what I would tell anybody, because trying to fit in will kind of make you do things that's not really in your nature, and you can find yourself in a bad situation like that. You could develop yourself into a thing or a person you don't want to be, rather than just being yourself and being true to yourself and being the best version of you. That's what I would say to anybody that's going through that right now.
That's what makes it all the more like missing in my eyes. It's because, like, my cousin was a beautiful young lady who grew up loving trains and superheroes, and she still knew how to be feminine. But who told her that this was the right way to go? And it didn't seem like she was into that until she reached like high school age, which is I'm honestly, in my mind, how do I stay there for her without
metaphorically slapping her in the face because eventually, and this is what really worries me, she'll grow up into the area where she realizes, oh crap, I've messed too much with my body and now I can't do anything about it, and she could eventually lead to suicide.
Yeah, hopefully you don't go down that direction, but it's kind of hard to once that train starts, it's kind of hard to get it to stop. And you know, people when they get to be a certain age, they don't want to hear anything from you. They feel like they have all the answers. So it's not much you can really do in that situation. Just try to be there for as much as possible. But trying to preach at her and talk at her, that's not going to get it done at all, because that probably makes a person like that kind of go further into whatever they're doing. It may be self-destructive, but it doesn't matter to them because they see it as something that's positive. They got to be able to be the ones that see what they're doing and is negative, and then they'll try to reach out for help. But until then, you can't really help them. Usually, that's kind of how it works.
It's a dilemma, to be sure. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for the call. I appreciate you.
You too.
All right, a lot of good calls tonight. You guys are on fire. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna leave in a little bit, probably about another 15, 20, because you know we got a little bit of you got New Year's and all that going on. But I'll take a few more calls from you guys. 860 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, how you doing? It's F&A Ranger Xbox.
All right, man. What's going on?
Oh, hey, bro. First of all, I wasn't going to talk about Andrew Tate, but I have to. The first time he, was a Marine who was watching his girlfriend's live stream and saw his girlfriend, and she's with her friend saying that they're at Andrew Tate's house. He swatted Andrew Tate, but there was nothing going on. There were lots of girls there. Well, what was so funny was he has closed circuit TV, right?
Uh-huh.
So, and recorders. And I heard this straight from Andrew Tate on YouTube. The police are watching the videos and they see the girls that are supposedly kidnapped and being held hostage and trafficked and everything go outside the front gate to pay the pizza delivery man and turn around and very giddily run back in with the pizzas. So how could you be a hostage if you're outside the property buying pizza and running back in? So that's on that.
I see.
And that was the first time he was swatted. But Andrew Tate also said it's Silicon Valley, the elites of YouTube and Google that are trying to take him down, and Facebook. And his words, not mine. I don't know. But what I do know is that I am a certified aircraft mechanic with a degree in aviation maintenance technologies. And would you believe I did that while living homeless in my pickup truck with this southern accent? Of course, a whole bunch of boys like me sent a man to the moon using a slide rule, piece of paper, and a pencil. So take that for what it's worth. But the reason why they had all these flight shutdowns is because there's a Turning Point video where they filed a lawsuit because commercial airline pilots were responsible for a couple of hundred people's lives in the air, and not to mention how many lives are on the ground when the airplane hits it.
Right.
They're not allowed to take experimental drugs. As a matter of fact, they're not allowed to take approved drugs until after those drugs have been in circulation and proven for over a year. And there are pilots that have blacked out and couldn't even recall how they landed their aircraft.
Wow.
That's why you had all these flight delays. On Rumble, F&A Ranger Xbox, I learned how to record my cell phone from a 5-year-old. He put a video up on how to record your screen in case your mom changes her password. So what you do is you set it to record the screen and hand her the phone so she can change the parental controls.
Wow, that's crazy.
But yeah, isn't that great? Kids are smart. But Andrew Tate, why women don't like Andrew Tate is he goes, look, if I provide a house, income, car, insurance, everything else for you, and you're not really providing much of anything for me, then I have a certain amount of authority over your life.
Exactly.
You know,
That's common sense.
Yeah, I mean, if a woman comes in and says, "Hey, I'm gonna buy you a house. You got a car. You could do this, this, this," but I'm gonna tell you that no, you're not gonna be allowed to go out drinking with your boyfriends, your buddies. Okay, well, fine. Put me home. But that's why these feminists get all triggered. But I can live without men. Really? How's that going to work? Everything around you is built by men. The road, the houses, the buildings, the telephone poles, the wires, the systems of operation, the airlines, the infrastructure. How are you going to live without men?
Exactly.
Because mostly men built. I'm not saying women aren't competent. They're delightfully wonderful creatures. And as far as that multiple girls or 4 wives and all that, Andrew Tate wasn't always a Muslim. He just became a Muslim after he started going to Dubai and saw how clean and organized, and he can walk down the street without fear of being assaulted or robbed. When he goes to London, he has to have 8 to 10 big bodyguards just to walk so he doesn't get his watch stolen. I mean, he says totally decadent, and he said it's insane. But, yeah, so that's what's going on. And if y'all want what real free speech, it's not being censored, that's on Wimkin. They don't censor anything, and they're growing. They're about at 6 million subscribers now. So, and they love you on their ABL. And they got liberals, too. But I guess I'll close with that, brother. Happy New Year. God bless America. Oh, God, we got so much stuff we got to fix. But you take care, brother. Oh, God, one more thing.
Okay.
One more thing. I know some of y'all are going to be out shooting guns. Please shoot the gun in the ground, not up in the air, because what goes up is going to come down.
That's right.
Don't shoot it at the rock. Don't shoot it at the concrete. Don't shoot it at the brick wall. Shoot it in the dirt, please. I'll close with that. God bless. Happy New Year.
Thanks for the call. Happy New Year to you.
ABL.
All right, now. Appreciate you.
Bye.
That's a good point, man. Please shoot the gun in the ground. Don't shoot it up in the air, because, like you said, what goes up must come down. So please be safe out there in these streets. Don't shoot your pistol in the air. If you're going to shoot it in the air, let it be in a place where there's no people around, where nobody's going to get injured. Just be safe. That's all. Very, very, very simple, straightforward. And I found that clip I was talking about earlier. I did find it. Now, I was talking about, well, I'm gonna just show you. I can show you better than I can tell you. Okay, so let's put it on the screen. This is from 21 convention, but 22 convention, because it's about women. It's women speaking about women and issues, relationships, all that kind of good stuff. All right, let's go ahead and just play it.
With no fathers in the home have lower self-esteem. Okay, fine, that sucks, but also women with low self-esteem are more promiscuous. No father families more likely to be victims of abuse, especially with single mothers. The more opportunities a child has to interact with biological father, the less likely they are to commit a crime or have contact with the juvenile justice system. Okay, another way to say that is men and women who are incarcerated, the population of the prisons mostly encompass fatherless homes. Now, here's something that no one else has mentioned, which I think is cool, and I don't really say this eloquently. If a man and wife raise a child, they're less likely to end up in jail, but they have the same statistical chance as children raised by just their father. So if we want to keep children, adults, out of prison, mother, father, or just father. We don't want to hear just father, so let's try to keep the families intact. I think that just seems better. Girls with
So the moral of the story is, for the best outcome for children, the best way to go about it is mother, father, first of all, mom and dad, obviously, that's going to be the best way. Now, is it going to produce 100% beautiful, perfect children, never do anything wrong? No. But it's going to be the better chance of the child coming out the way it's supposed to. Mother, father, or just father. Or just father. Statistically, both of those have a low chance of going to the penitentiary. The same chance of going to the penitentiary, which is a low chance. But if you go single mother only homes, they have a higher chance of going to the penitentiary. That's just the statistics she's talking about. No, whether that's the, correlation, causation, whatever, that's the stats she's talking about right there. There's a lot of single dads out there. It's not an anomaly. A lot of single fathers raising children for whatever the reason may be. Okay. It might have been a divorce, might have been a death. It could be anything. Adoption, whatever. Okay. LGBT, whatever. Okay. That's the reality of what's going on. So, that's just what it is. All right. And of course, there's always exceptions. Sometimes you might have a crazy dad, crazy mom, or crazy dad, or an excellent, fantastic mom. But the stats are just the stats. And that's all that it is. Yeah, they ain't going to hear that. People are not going to want to hear that, but it's just the reality. I don't want to brag about anything. And I always say the best way would be obviously mom, dad in the same house. But stats say mom, dad in the same house have the same probability of raising kids that won't go to the penitentiary as dad only house. All right. So that's that. I got to wrap it up right here. I know I'm a little bit early, but it's New Year's Eve. So just a little teeny bit early, but I'll be back doing my regular 3-hour show on Monday coming up here. And that'll pretty much be that. I got super chats to read right quick. Then I'll wrap it on up, put the bow clean on top. Thank you to What the said Happy New Year, AB. Happy New Year to you as well. F Ranger Xbox, Happy New Year. Vince G says, already read that one. Thank you to Jay Valdez, who says, Happy New Year, ABL. I love the show. MAGA. Thank you to No White Guilt, who says, shouldn't we resist the urge to automatically follow everyone in the regime opposes, a la Tate? Well, I mean, you can appreciate what someone says without following them blindly and whatever else they say. I may like a person and what they say, or I may want to defend them, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I believe in everything they say. And a prime example would be Whoopi Goldberg. I defended her this week. I don't believe anything she says. I don't vibe with, or how they say vibe. I'm not in agreement with anything that she says normally, but canceling her because she was talking about an old event and she was not trying to double down, that's just wrong. You see what I'm saying? So you can kind of have a little bit, you can kind of compartmentalize without just going all in with someone and what they believe in to defend what they're going through. But that's a good question, though. No White Guilt. Thank you to Charles Turner Jr., who says the main issue with Arizona right now is not California's moving as much as the Republicans who are feckless neocon rhinos. I mean, I think you're halfway right. I think there is an issue with these GOP people that are feckless, whatever. But also, I mean, I've been out there to Arizona a few times and I've seen it firsthand. It's like a small California. It's just the reality of the situation. Scottsdale ain't nothing but Los Angeles. Keeping it all the way real. Bob K. MIT says GOP got screwed when they went from election day to election month. That is correct. Thank you to Rob Barron for your donation. I appreciate you. And thank you to Johnny, I can't pronounce your last name, Favaru, who says, ABL, are you following any of the Twitter files? Info being released. Happy New Year. I've been following that a little bit, but not really because I don't really see anything that's groundbreaking that I have not seen before. So if they come up with something that's totally groundbreaking, like we all know that the federales are involved in the censorship. We all know that the Democrat Party were involved in the censorship. We all know that they were trying to hide things. Hunter Biden laptop, crack smoke tape. We already knew that. So I don't really see things that are necessarily brand new that I've not seen before. And if that happens, I'll go ahead and report on it. But I have kept my eye on it. The same thing I did with the case in Idaho. I didn't really report on it really, but I kept my eye on it. And when they came through with a revelation, like they found a guy that could be the person that killed them, then it's like, okay, now it's time to report because that's a big revelation. Twitter files would be the same thing for me. That's just kind of how I look at it. But everybody's different. All right. So you guys have been fantastic all year. I appreciate you guys. And I don't want to just say that like just to say it. I'm being very serious. I could not do any of this without you. You guys have changed my life. And I really, really appreciate y'all. You guys are the best. I say all the time, and I really, really mean it, bottom of my heart. The best audience anywhere on these internets. Do I have any resolution for the new year? Not really. I'll just try to be consistent for you guys, always putting out good content, being honest as always, not trying to just put out stuff just because I got to put it out. I'm a express myself straight from my heart and just have that be what I do. Being consistent, putting out content, and that's just what it is. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with it. You guys have been great all year and years before that, and here's another year, 2023 coming up. You might be in a place where you're already at 2023. If that's the case, Happy New Year to you. And if you're not at the New Year yet, Happy early New Year. And thank you all for joining tonight, all throughout the year. Shout out to the mods for being here tonight and all throughout the year, keeping the trolls in check. If you've been watching, super chatting, live stream, viewing, party, whatever you're doing, thank you. Couldn't do it without you. But that'll be a wrap for me tonight. I'll be back. I gotta be corny. I'll be back next year. Now I'll be back live again on Wednesday, pre-recorded videos on Monday. I'll be off tomorrow as normal. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out, and peace.